Hello everyone, so today, this video, I'm going to be going over just the basics of Procreate, and if you're thinking about buying Procreate or if you've already purchased it and you just want to know the basic things about how to work Procreate, this video is definitely for you. So let's get started. So first, whenever you download Procreate, of course you go into the app and it's going to show you your menu basically. This is just like your gallery of all the digital art that you will accumulate. You can organize those into stacks, so I'm just going to go over that first. So if you're wanting to move the canvas to a different spot, you can hold it down and drag. This kitty picture, if I wanted to stack it with this picture right here, I can just hold it down, hold it on top, and it'll create a stack. A few other tips before I go into creating a canvas and everything. Right here you have 3 different options and then you have a plus button. So the select button, you can click that, you can select any one of these artworks, you can click it, you can select multiple artworks if you want, and you can preview it, you can share it, and you can like choose what image format you would like, or if it's like an animation, or you can duplicate, or you can just delete it. So I don't really want to do any of those, so you can just exit out. So that's basically the gist of just the home page and the gallery, I guess you'd call it, in general. So now I'm going to be going over just like the main key features in Procreate that you would need to begin with. So here I have a canvas that I created before I started the video, and I'm going to go over how I did that. So you have this plus button here, and what you'll do is you'll click that, and it's going to show you new canvas. It'll have like a history of all the canvases that you've made and different sizes, that custom made canvas sizes. So to get a canvas size, if you don't want to use like their standard sizes that they have here, like 4x6, if you don't want any of those, if you want like create your own size, you can go to up here, and then it's going to pop up the custom canvas menu where you can put in your width and your height, and you can choose down here between pixels, inches, centimeters, and millimeters. So what I usually do is pixels. Anyway, you just type in what you want your pixel number to be. I'm just gonna make up a random size with pixels, and then we'll just go from there. So I'll just do like 1500 pixels by 1500 pixels. And then once you type in those numbers, it's going to show you how many layers you're going to have available. You want to create your canvas. You can pinch to zoom in and out of your canvases. So first, I'm just going to go into the settings here on the top bar. You have all these different icons. I'm going to go over those here in just a bit, so stay tuned. So I zoomed in a little bit closer for you guys just to see pretty up close what I'm talking about. So I'm in my canvas, the 1500 by 1500. So you have your little wrench right here. It's like a little settings button. You're going to click that. You have add right here. This is just talking about inserting a photo. So let me just give you a quick example. I could click that, and it's going to take me to my photo gallery. Another thing is you can actually just take a photo from here. It'll pop up the camera and you can take a quick photo. You can also cut something out. I use the copy and paste tool a lot. What that essentially means is that whatever layer I have selected or I'm on at that moment, and I go to this setting and I click copy, it'll copy that specific layer. And then I can go to another canvas and then go to this drop down menu again on the other canvas and then hit paste, and it'll just copy and paste it. And then over here to canvas, I can just see right here crop and resize. So if I click that, it'll bring up if I want to resize my canvas, so I can type it in manually and change what I want the height and width to be, or I can just move my finger right here and it'll tell me up here how many layers are available. Then you have animation assist. This is just awesome. Procreate has an animation tool. That's actually what I used for my intro to the videos here on Artara Studio. I animate all of my text and just I do everything on Procreate. Like, it's crazy how it's just so diverse. If you want to animate something, it'll show each layer that you have and you can play it. Yeah, but I'll just save that for another video, a whole nother video in itself to go over. And then you have drawing guide. So if you turn that on, it'll basically just pull up this grid to where you know if your lines are straight. Also, you have flip canvas horizontally or vertically. I don't usually use that too much, but it is useful. It could be very useful if you want to make sure your proportions are correct, etc. So canvas information is really important. So if I click on this, it's going to show how big my canvas is, the DPI, you have your maximum layers, video settings, statistics, how long it took me to create this piece of art. It's a really cute little touch. You can sign your name. So that's just on the canvas drop down. Then you have share, and I usually do this from the gallery menu instead of here. You can share this image, or if it's a group of layers for like an animation, I usually press either animated MP4 or animated HEVC. We'll just call it that. Anyway, then you have video. I usually always go to here whenever I want to export a time-lapse painting. So you can just click here and it's gonna export that time-lapse video. You can actually just replay it. If you click time-lapse replay, it'll just replay everything for you in Procreate, so you can just to preview it. You can go to preferences. I don't usually change anything here. I usually always leave it the same. That's all for the tools. Over here you have this like little wand. You click on that and that's your adjustments. So this is really useful. I use Gaussian Blur a lot. Say if I want to, here is a lovely tree. So anyway, okay, I have, you know how depth of field is like the farther an object becomes, the lighter it is. So I have these trees that are a lighter color for the back, and then the darker tree is up more close. So, and I go to the adjustments and I go to Gaussian Blur. All you have to do is just slide. That's all you have to do, and you see what's happening. So you have this little blue bar up here that's just going across, and it's going to get more blurry the more farther you go. So this is just really blurry. And there's a bunch of other tools you can play around with. And you have opacity. You can just drag it and just go down with it. So this is full opacity. The bar is moving up here. It'll show you what percentage you're on. So there's like noise, liquify. You can play around with all these settings. I usually just use a select few that I like the most, like sharpen or Gaussian blur. I'm going to move on to the selection tool. If you go into your selection tool and you click on it, it's going to show all these different things. So you have down here automatic, freehand, rectangle, or ellipse. And right now it's on freehand, and that's what I use the most. So once I select, you can drag it and you can either press copy and paste, and what that will do, if I click on that, go to your layers, it copied and pasted it to another layer. So I have the same exact sun. So then if I go back to the selection tool, go to automatic, you can just tap it, tap everything you want. That's another thing to keep in mind. Then you have rectangle, and that's just like a square. I usually use the freehand. And then you have ellipse, which is the same concept, it's just a circle. Say if I want to select this freehand, and then you have this mouse tool up here. So if I click on that, I can move it around. It's on free form right now. I can make it smaller, I can pinch it to zoom in and out. I wanted to go over this toolbar over here. So what this basically is your brush size and your brush opacity. What you can do is you can actually change the brush size from here, and it'll show the percentage. So if you want to remember a specific size, then you can refer back to that number. Also opacity. So I can change it to like a bit lighter. You can go down a little bit more. I'm just going to go over real quick the brush menu. So this is your brushes. There is tons to choose from. The ones that are my favorite, especially to sketch with, is the peppermint sketch pencil. You have right here your smudge tool. I don't really ever use this, but what you can do, you click on it again, it'll pop up all your brushes, and you can smudge something with a specific brush that you like. So if I do this, it's really good for blending. Back to the eraser, it'll pop up this menu. So it'll be the same brush library, and I can erase stuff, a certain brush preset that I really like. So I have it on syrup brush, and it'll go over, and it's a different texture. So that's another thing to keep in mind. And then I'm gonna go over the layers. I'm just first gonna go over how you can add a layer. So you have this plus button right here, and you can click add, and it'll add one automatically. You can click down right here on this N, and N represents, if you're completely new to digital art, then I was just going to go over these little settings. So you have like normal, lighten, screen, add. All these are different ways to manipulate your color. So let's take add for instance. So I have it on add, and I have the exact same color that I'm using for this other layer. So right here. So I'm on layer 5, it's on add, 100% on max. So I can change it. I'm going to change it to like, okay, 60%. And if I go over it, now you can see what it does. It's like a completely different color, but it's actually the same color. If you do plan on getting Procreate, or if you already have it, this is something that I would definitely recommend playing around with first, and because you have a lot of fun. Have a layer selected and you click on it again, it pops up this menu on the side. I'm not going to go over all of these, so it's right above this layer that we're on right now. So it's on normal. If I want to do clipping mask, I use clipping mask all the time. So right now there is this clipping mask that is like selected above our existing layer. So if I go and get a different color, so what that basically means is it's only going to draw on top of the existing layer below it. So it's not going to go out of that range. See? It's only going to do not outside the edge. It's only going to go inside this. So that's just another thing to keep in mind. And you might be noticing why I'm doing this all the time. Procreate has a fun addition. You can also backspace right here if you want, but I like to just use a shortcut tool that they have where you can just have 2 fingers and you tap and it'll get rid of it. And if you also want to redo it, you can have 3 fingers that tap and it'll redo all those strokes that you made. You can select those on and off to turn on and off those layers, and that's just very important as well. I'm gonna go with the colors. So color has some really cool, they have a lot of different ways to find your colors that you would like. So you have the disc right here. Also, you have your classic harmony. So you have analogous colors, just different things. You can click on it and it'll select complementary, split complementary, etc. These are really useful to have on hand. Then you can go to value. So value, I don't really use this a whole lot, but I mean, I'm sure it's useful in its ways. I just like to select from the classic or the disc. But this is basically like the different hues. You have like red, green, blue. You can just play around with that as well. Also, you have palettes. So palettes are awesome. What you can do is, I have like a couple of palettes for different characters like Max or Nick, Poppy, just different ones, and I have a bunch for shading, line art, and their little blush marks on their cheeks, etc. So I use these colors a lot, and the way you can add another palette is if you go to the plus, it just created a new one. You can actually just tap here and you can rename it, or you can basically just like, say I have this green up here and I can just click the square and it'll add. So that's basically what you have to do. So yeah, I mean, that's basically about it. There's so much you can do with Procreate, but I'm hoping in future videos that I can show you how to do like animation, go into more in depth on how I use Procreate. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that this really helped any of you that wants to get started with Procreate, and I hope that this helped you guys. Please let me know in the comments what you guys thought, and if you have any questions or anything that you would like me to do and cover in future videos, please let me know. I'd love to hear from y'all. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys.